Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things that we see them. And boy, oh boy, I have an episode for you today. It's going to spark a lot of conversation, but it has to be said. So let me just go ahead and get into the topic here. Now, I have to say this. I have never seen anything more embarrassing than what has transpired with the Lakers this season. I have to say it. Yet again, the Lakers suffer another embarrassing loss to a team that's less superior than they are in the New Orleans Pelicans, a less talented team. Just yesterday, they lost again in a close game to the 9th seed New Orleans Pelicans, which means that the Lakers now are still in the 10th seed in the Western Conference, still fighting to make it into the play-in. We're not even talking about getting into the playoffs. We're talking about the Lakers fighting to get into the play-in. LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook were all available last night, and they somehow found a way to lose to that team. Just think about it. LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, and they couldn't beat the 9th seed New Orleans Pelicans. It's games like this, it's moments like this that make people like Ric Bucher say that LeBron James is not a top 10 player in the NBA currently, and he isn't. That is just a bloody reality. After that loss last night, it made me think of the words that Ric Bucher said just a few days ago on First Things First. For those of you who may not be aware of some of the things that he said, we want to play a quick soundbite, play some comments, or basically play a back and forth between him and Nick Wright, where he was basically trying to explain to Nick Wright the reason for him saying that LeBron nor AD, because that's what he said. He said he doesn't think that the Lakers right now have a top 10 player on their roster. He was including Anthony Davis in that comment. So for those of you who missed that exchange, take a listen to it here, and we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to that.
I will give them a puncher's chance to get out of the play-in tournament, but that's about as far as it goes. And not to open up a can of worms or create a tier of top 10 players, but I'm not sure that the Lakers have a top 10 player, and certainly I'm not putting Anthony Davis in that category at this point. You're talking about the Lakers last year being up on the Phoenix Suns. That was last year's Lakers, and that was last year's Suns. There is no comparison to the Phoenix Suns now
we have to dive into
or
what
the
Rick
Los
just
Angeles Lakers now.
Wait a minute. We got to stop, because I was about to say something I don't think I've ever said on this show, which is I totally agree with Ric Bucher, which is it's going to be I would pick them to get out of the play-in, but it's far from a guarantee, and I would give them no shot to beat Phoenix 4 out of 7. Did you just say there's an argument the Lakers don't have a single top 10 player? Did you say that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did not. In the words of Chris Broussard, I did not stutter.
See, so Rick, and I say this, and I love having you on the show.
LeBron is not top 10?
Hold on, wait. I got this first. I got this. This is why folks might assume or even throw your way that you have some, what's the word? Anti-LeBron derangement syndrome. That's the word. Because if you are trying to make the argument that I'm just curious, you've covered the league a long time.
Yes.
Let's just assume LeBron wins the scoring title. How many scoring champs in your career covering the league were not top 10 players?
Well,
can you think of any others?
We're assuming that?
Well, he's right now he's winning the scoring title. Right now he is. So I'm just curious. Is it a long list of guys who've won the scoring title are not top 10 players, especially guys who are one of 2 players in the league averaging 27, 7, and 7, he and Giannis. Giannis, I assume you have Giannis in the top 10. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe not. Maybe Big Bam Adebayo guy, but assuming Giannis top 10. So would LeBron be the first guy in your career covering the league to win a scoring title while not a top 10 player? Because it's a fascinating take.
Yeah, you know what? He might be, because I'm trying to think of the guys that have won a scoring title that have been on teams this bad, that have won a scoring title and it has no effect on their team's actually winning games.
At you, because I'm so irritated with Rick. You've done nothing here. But let me just, I guess there needs to be balance in the universe, and a lot of people's top 10s have 16 players in them. I would like for Ric Bucher to go pen to paper on 10 names. Because if LeBron's not in his top 10, I think Bucher's top 10's got 4 guys. I think it's Giannis, Durant, Jokic, Embiid, and that's your top 10. Because is Harden a top 10 guy? Is Dame a top 10 guy?
You know what?
Who are the top 10 guys that are doing more than LeBron? I'd like to know the list.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a guy we saw last night, and when he was in Minnesota, and his numbers were meteoric. They were monstrous. And people would talk about Kevin Love as a top 10 player.
Oh, my God.
You remember that.
Guys,
Kevin Love was talked about as a top 10 player because of his statistics. It didn't translate to winning. He was never a top 10 player in my estimation.
Now, after watching these last few games, I think it is 100% crystal clear that Ric Bucher is 100% right if you remove your emotions out of it. And if you try to think critically and clearly about this, it will be crystal clear to you. LeBron nor AD is a top 75 player, and I'll tell you why. Because if these were, top 10 player, because if these guys were top 10 players in the NBA, they would be able to have an impact, a direct impact on winning. That's what top 10 players can do. Let me give you guys the actual top 10 players who have a significant impact on winning, regardless of injuries or not. Let me give you these players. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a top 10 player. This is without question. Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, because before Kevin Durant got injured in the beginning of the season, the Brooklyn, towards the beginning, they were the #1 seed. You have Kevin Durant, you have Joel Embiid, of course. You have Jason Tatum, you have Devin Booker, you have Ja Morant. He has a great team, but when Ja plays, he helps his team win games. Yes, they have a very good record without him, but they're even better with him. So you have Ja Morant. You have Stephen Curry, obviously. You have Luka Doncic. This is without question. I hope I pronounce his name properly. And of course, you have Nikola Jokic. All of these players are better than LeBron and AD right now, for the simple fact that these guys contribute to winning. The performances that they put forward on a night in and night out basis leads to W's. And ultimately, that's the goal. That's how we should be judging players. We can't be looking at players putting up gaudy numbers on bad teams and talking about they're the best players in the NBA, especially when they have help. There were instances in the past where you had great players on bad teams with no talent. In the case of the Lakers have 5 Hall of Famers, 4 top 75 players. No single person can give me an excuse for why this Laker team is underperforming. If you say that, wait a minute, these are not top 75. Let me throw this argument at you. You know what exposes this current team? Is the team across the hallway in the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers, the success of the Clippers is exposing the Lakers. Any argument you want to use, or any kind of any argument you want to use, or any defense you want to use against this team, the success of the Clippers exposes it. What's going to be your excuse? The Lakers don't have enough talent. The Clippers haven't even had their best players for virtually the entire season, and somehow, some way, they have a better record than the Los Angeles Lakers. So what is your excuse? Name a player, according to the people that believe that LeBron or AD is a top 5, top 10 player. Name a player that the Clippers have had for a consistent basis this entire season that is on the level of a LeBron or Anthony Davis. You name, there is no one. There is no one. So if they haven't had players that are as talented as those 2 players, please explain to me why they have a better record, or better yet, do the inverse. Explain to me why the Lakers don't have a better record than the Clippers. There is no excuse for this. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to throw out your emotions. You got to take them and throw them in the trash. This is not hating. And the reason why I feel that it's important for us to produce this video is because if we don't say it, who will? What I've understood from a lot of the comments that we get in the comment section is this, is not that people take an issue with maybe the logic that we use, maybe our presentation, maybe our studios. No, they don't take issue with that, because there's nothing really that they can say. No one watching these videos can say, oh, these guys are not. So it's a bloody Saturday, almost cursed. It's a bloody Saturday, and we're working. When some people at the beach, some people are going to go chill, we're working. So nobody's going to accuse us of being lazy. What they don't like is that I'm saying what's not being said. There are a bunch of people out there, a good amount of people, that agree with what I'm saying. Go look at the like and dislike ratios on our video, over 90%. There are a lot of people out there that feel what I'm saying, but they don't have the platform to say, so I have to say it. Because if I don't say it, if you leave it up to Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, and these guys, they're not going to say it. There must be a counterbalance. And I got to say it. Ric Bucher is 100% right. If you disagree with what I'm saying, please explain to me in the comment section that if in fact LeBron or AD is a top 75 player, explain to me why there are teams with less talent performing better than them. If you're going to use the excuse that the Lakers are not a good team, then why were they picked to be the number 1 team to represent the Western Conference this season? Number 1. Number 2, why was LeBron saying keep that energy? LeBron apparently at the beginning of this season felt as if that the Lakers were good enough for him to open his mouth by himself to say keep that same energy. It means that he felt, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. For those of you guys saying that we're old or we're not good, I'm going to prove you wrong. He felt he had that much conviction in this team. So you explain to me why they are struggling to get wins and why this Laker team, think about it, has less than 35 wins. You explain that to me. And if you don't have an explanation for that, don't open your mouth and tell me that I'm hating or I shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't be talking because it seems as if a lot of the things you guys have been saying is just a bunch of nonsense in the comment section. Bunch of nonsense. In my personal opinion, sorry for being a little bit so animated about this, but I've been sitting back reading the comments, and you're not going to put a muzzle on me for me that will stop me from saying my piece. What's next? Y'all going to be sending me death threats? Is it that serious? Come on, cut it out. These are my thoughts. I'm not taking back anything that I said. If you disagree, please, the comment section is open. Leave your argument. If you can't see anything else beyond you're hating, nobody's taking you seriously. It means you have nothing to say. Period. End of story. Those are my thoughts. We catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.